Hello! So I want to do a video about the bottom 5 worst heroes. I recently did one for top 5, and so it's time to do bottom 5. It's actually been a long time since I've talked about like the worst heroes in the game. So yeah, let's just start, and I'm going to put in number 5, Artemis. So Artemis is a marksman, which, I mean, there are a lot of marksmen in Hero Wars, and to really stand in that role, like, they're pretty much just DPS focused. You really have to be pretty exceptional, and Artemis, she just isn't. She's like, really, there's not a lot of reason to ever use Artemis over other heroes. Like, her ult, it does, like, it has like 10, it shoots 10 arrows, kind of random targeting. It's whatever. If there's only one enemy on the field, that can look good, but again, like, it's pretty mediocre. Her smart arrow, it bounces, it hits random targets a few times. Her ascension skill lets her heal a little bit, but it's not a lot of healing, so it doesn't matter that much. It's kind of a nice to have, but then she has an ability that blinds. This gets blocked by Sebastian and Core, so this one unfortunately doesn't really do much. Then she has punishing arrows. This is probably the thing that makes her a bit interesting, in that as she takes damage, she gets stronger as the fight goes on. On the other hand, it's just not enough of a boost, and she'll die pretty much anyway before you can really take advantage of this. She does have a second essential ability that lets her get 7 more arrows on her ults, which is, again, they're random targets. There's just better, like, if you want a marksman, there are just way better choices, and there's just better choices for single hits, for multi-targets. It's that she just doesn't do enough to ever justify using her. But I mean, I guess she's not totally trash, though. She will feed some energy to dodgers if there's dodgers on the field. Yeah, you could use Lyria, but if you're using Lyria, you're probably not using Artemis, because there's, again, way better heroes to use. So yeah, Artemis, number 5, pretty unimpressive. But it gets worse, guys. Number 4, Ginger. So Ginger has many of the same problems Artemis does, in that, one, she's a marksman. She has an ultimate that hits multi-targets. Hers tries to hit all enemies at 7 times with her ults. It's kind of better than Artemis in that it always hits all of them, but it's only 7 shots, so it's worse against a single target. This also, because it hits everything, it's also worse against dodger teams, since you will feed a lot of energy to the enemy team if they have dodgers. She has penetrating shots, her second ability. This one's kind of one of her better abilities, because it hits the enemy and the enemy directly on, so it's not too bad, but it's also not particularly powerful. It gets okay. Suppressive fire, this is just an AE damage hit. Nothing too impressive, just hits the whole team. Single AE damage, only 20% physical, so it's not even that much damage. Like, there's just way better AE damage abilities in the game. Then you have ranging shot. Each consecutive shot, her basic attack still extra for the damage. The current target Ginger dies, the extra damage set. Like, this is actually a pretty good ability, except the problem is it resets when the target dies. So, like, if this didn't reset, Ginger would probably look a bit better, but she's just so unimpressive. Like, at least Artemis has some niche uses, in that her ultimate can actually do pretty decent damage against a single target, against like certain boss fights or whatever. You know, Artemis can almost defend, but there's like no reason to use Ginger, and Ginger doesn't have ascension abilities, so maybe they could fix her at some point. But my gosh, they're so bad at giving us ascension abilities. But yeah, if they give her ascension abilities that fix up some of these abilities, then maybe Ginger could be better. But yeah, I'm picking Ginger as number 4. Like I said, she's a lot like Artemis, but even worse. Number 3, Elmir. So Elmir is, if you've been following my channel a long time, you know that Elmir is like the stuff of memes. He's a running gag on this channel. Like, for the longest time, I didn't even summon him, because he's just really not worth summoning. He's just honestly that bad. He creates like little sand clones, but it's let's see, what's his? So his ultimate jumps to the back line, which is whatever. But you can also create sand clones with a second skill when he does that, if you have this available. And it's pretty much like said, his clones, again, like, it's all about making these clones, and that's all. His whole kit is just making these little sand clones. You know, it's like they'll do bit of damage. It's just he's super unimpressive. There was a time when he was okay just because he was one of 3 heroes who could buff armor penetration, but then they made Morgan who could also buff armor penetration and could summon minions, and it was pretty much better than every way to Elmir. Did pretty much Elmir did, but was way better in just about every way. So yeah, Elmir just pretty mediocre. Also, his sand clones, they die after like 10 seconds or 12 seconds. They live for 12 seconds and then disappear after that. So Morgan's minions survive until they die, until they're killed, and she can heal them. So yeah, he's just a bad version of Morgan, like at this point. So there's no reason to use Elmer. He's really is just that bad. Like he's terrible. He's one of the worst heroes in the game. Long been a joke, and I'm not the only person like other people think he's the worst hero because he just isn't worth using. There's no way I can sugarcoat. Elmer is just bad, guys. He's awful. And then we get to number 2, Dark Star. Yeah, I like Dark Star. Thematically, I like Dark Star. I like the idea of Dark Star. She shoots 2 arrows at a distance, damaging and stunning them for 3 seconds. Nice, except, well, they get blocked by Sebastian and Chorus and Celeste and Nebula. But it's okay. Our second ability does a bit of AE damage here. Slow and deal damage to rivals against status effect that gets blocked by Sebastian. She has a mind control ability, which is actually super good. It can also be boosted with her Ascension skill, except again, gets blocked by Sebastian and Chorus. And yeah, then she has her partner, which does like, so her basic attack will pretty much do like 2 hits instead. She gets the second hit. It's like said, that's about the only thing she has going for her, that, and she's a dodger. So she can, in theory, use her ult kind of a lot, but the main reason to use her ult is for the stuns. And while in a meta that is dominated by Sebastian and Chorus, Dark Star ends up being pretty bad. Like, she just can't actually do much with this. Yeah, shows you it's a control duration. Yeah, it's all about pretty much her whole kit's about mind control. Her essential abilities are about this mind control ability, and it's so easily blocked by Sebastian and Chorus that it just ends up being almost unusable outside of certain niches. Like there's just not a lot of reason to use Dark Star, and the places where you can use mind control, that's when you just use Mara as your active pet. Like if they're not using Sebastian or Chorus, and you can actually take advantage of mind control, that could be potentially useful. But it's like mind control, like it's just like even with Mara Patron, mind control is only 12 seconds. It's like, and you can't use Mara Patron and Kane Patron on her at the same time. You have to pick. So it's like, so it just doesn't work. As much as I like Dark Star, the idea of Dark Star, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna mind control them, except it just doesn't work because of the way the game plays with all the protection abilities. Like you're just never gonna be able to take advantage of her kit in a way that actually matters. And also, she's a physical attacker. You know, for marksman, she doesn't even do that much damage. She's pretty underwhelming. All of her skills have pretty low scaling. So that's the other thing, like a lot of these marksmen have really low damage scaling on their skills. Like it's only 30% physical attack, and she hits, it's just 2 hits, guys. It's just 2 hits. Like, Ginger and Artemis were hitting more targets. So like her damage is even worse than that. So yeah, unfortunately, Dark Star, number 2. And this gets us to number 1, Astrid and Lucas, who I pick as the worst hero in the game. So Astrid, they are a marksman warrior. Yes, like another marksman. So they are also one of 2 heroes in the game who do not use energy. Astrid embraces the fury of neck of her pet, so she has what they call fury instead of energy, which seems like a good thing, except she gets sentient rage to each attack, so she does fill up a bit faster, but it's pretty much only charged her basic attacks. So, and then when she gets 100%, she can transform Lucas, which, seems good, except Lucas doesn't work like a normal, like, pet or a summon or anything. Like I said, she's a much older character than the other ones. She gets a nice attack skill speed, like that this could be good if she could actually do any kind of damage, but her pet attack damage only based 20% on her physical attack. Predator charge, like, each her damage See, put at the path rage form. Yeah, each consecutive hit does increasing damage. Except the problem is, I'll get to in a second. Her pet doesn't stay in the form that long. Then see each of the heroes. Then she has her tracker's mark. Each of the heroes' attacks mark the enemy hit with tracker's mark for seconds. If the pet hits a marked enemy, the enemy is stunned for a short period. Again, this is stunned. She almost never make it matter. So her whole kit is about Lucas, and Lucas doesn't have hit points. Instead, what happens is every time he is hit, it says each hit deprives the pet of 7% of the rage. So that means 15 hits, he goes back to kitty form, and 15 hits. 15 hits is not a lot. He'll transform and usually get transformed back, and like all of her abilities pretty much depend on Lucas being transformed. And there's just like such, she doesn't accumulate rage that fast. It's just basic attacks. So the first transformation is probably about 20 seconds to fight. A lot of fights will already be over. Like I said, she is the character that most needs a rework. Like her whole kit just doesn't really work. There's just way better things to be doing in this game. She does buff armor. I guess there's some niche uses there for marksman who can buff armor, but like, and again, I like her design. I kind of like the whole idea with the whole pet theme. Get these different skins here where Lucas is a different theme. But yeah, unfortunately, I didn't mean to click off that yet. She's just not good. The whole kit just doesn't work. It's just, like I said, Lucas doesn't even do that much damage. That's the other thing. He doesn't even do that much damage. Like, even with this thing, the damage is pretty low because the pet, it's only 20% of her physical attack. So even if you get an extra 160% on that, it's still low damage. So, like, if Lucas had like actual HP, could get benefit from like actual defense buffs or whatever, like he could potentially be better. But because it's just every hit reduces 7% rage, he gets pretty much banished, effectively banished really quickly. So yeah, that's who I pick as the bottom 5, and Astrid is number 1 worst. Yeah, those are heroes I don't recommend using. I don't recommend investing in. If you want a good marksman, Lara Croft, if you have her, Jude's really good. Kira's actually not too bad. Like there's just better things. There's also all the mages and all the other characters. Like I said, Lyria's pretty good as a like warrior hero. There's even Yasmin's pretty good as a warrior. There's lots of physical attackers. Like, there's just way better choices. Dante is really good. Yeah. Anyway, that's the video. If you want to know who my picks for top 5 best heroes are, I recommend checking out the video down below. As always, thank you for watching.